Hey, how's it going? Man, with the most broken audio system in all of Florida.
You said me? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about my headset for a second.
Oh, no. No, I'm talking about your car.
Did you
That's
look at my blog post?
yeah, it's very detailed.
Dude, going through this exercise, it makes me want to do like obviously I'm having a midlife crisis. It makes me want to like do a career change.
Be a lawyer.
Yeah, but I want to be like Abraham Lincoln. I want to be self-taught. I don't want to go to school. So at least I don't want to go to law school. But I mean, I submitted a claim to the Better Business Bureau and uh, Dade County Consumer Protection. I have a appointment scheduled with Best Buy. Hopefully, they'll perform some diagnostics, so I have a written assessment report that I could then also forward to these various organizations slash agencies.
Yeah, I don't know that
I suspended my work on my passion project because of the stupid sound system and the money that I spent. I paid a lot of money to get it right the first time, and it didn't work.
yeah, I don't know that the Better Business Bureau does a whole lot, but I don't
They
know what
they
the
have they've resolved two issues for me within the past 10 years.
Oh, really? What do they do?
The last issue I got $3,000 back.
What do they actually do? Because I always
Well,
just figured they have like this rating, and then that's like it's just kind of a meaningless thing.
uh, it may be meaningless to like I don't know, um, custom car audio shops in Hialeah, Florida. Your dingy mom and pop spots, they may not care. But once you start getting into like the level of chambers of commerce type businesses where they have a reputation and certain people will only work with them based on a specific score or a range of scores with the Better Business Bureau and
Hmm.
other organizations, it becomes serious. It'll eliminate you from opportunities from people that are spending or from organizations maybe that are spending tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So I've sicked the Better Business Bureau on insurance companies before. Um, each time that I've used it, which is twice, I can't remember the very first time I've used it, but each time I've used it, I've had success with them. But
Hmm.
again, the businesses that I filed a claim using the Better Business Bureau, they were white collar businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, not big, not
No,
little mom and pop type shops.
no, not Cuban car audio garages. So
Yeah, they just close and open another one in the same spot.
yeah, so I mean, I think the last missing piece is to have a written assessment by a recognized like corporation versus a competing local installer. Like their opinion may not hold that much weight, especially within the court system. But if you have like I don't know, a Best Buy, which is like one of the technical authorities for electronics in regards to retail and their Geek Squad and stuff like that,
Hmm.
you would think that the courts would hold their assessment a little bit higher, well, significantly higher than Rashid's custom audio that wants my business to redo the system.
Yeah, yeah. So what did I didn't really read into what they did when you tried to have them fix it. Did they just say no, it's fine, we're not taking
No, they kept on. I brought it back like three times,
it? Hmm.
and just like programmers, they would just hack on it. And the last time I brought it back to them, I got it back even worse, in worse condition. It's a
Hmm.
brand new. It's a brand new vehicle. Like So that's what happened.
Yeah.
I try to remind myself that this is a first world problem, and that I shouldn't, my hairline shouldn't continue to recede over this,
It
and
doesn't
that
really have much
think
farther to go. I mean,
things like this happen within people's lifetime, and
yeah.
maybe it's just an opportunity. I'm trying to enforce a stoic mindset, say maybe this is just a $3,000 class to get practice for legal, to learn the legal approach to resolving issues, or diplomatic approach, like put sanctions on them, right? So, I mean, honestly, like if I was unemployed, yeah, I would be hemorrhaging right now. But because I have a steady flow of money coming in, like I'm still upset. Like I barely tip strippers, right? So I'm still upset, but I'm just trying to like.
Yeah, I forgot you're the one who doesn't tip anyone. Who doesn't like to tip.
I mean, I tip like at the restaurant. I just feel like it's a stupid system.
Yeah.
And if those people really want more money and they're a U.S. citizen, then like take out a loan from the government and go to school. I did it. Like like you shouldn't expect people to feel sorry for you, and that's how you make your living. Like, and that's I think that's what tipping is. I mean, I'm sure other people will translate it as no, it's they give you top notch service. I don't look at it like that. I look at I came here for the service, and like taxes, I shouldn't have to pay any more than what I'm obligated to pay. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
world disagrees with me, but you could ask Australia and some other countries, and I think tipping is frowned upon. It's like the audacity that you look down on me and you give me more money as if I'm beneath you. Like I think that's kind of like how maybe a minority of people within the world population may view it if they're paid well to do their job and they're not
Yeah.
taken advantage of by the employers. So
Well, I don't know. I tip a lot, but I'm getting a lot of feedback. Is your surprisingly um, I wonder. Well, now your mic's just off, but I definitely don't hear myself now. I don't know if it's just loud through the thing or what. Not a lot of feedback, but just hearing myself is throwing me off.
microphone check one
Yep.
two 1 2. My name is Scott Dog. What you want to do? I'm through. Uh, is it
But anyways,
the
yeah.
same?
No, I think it's good now. Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
why I was getting it before, but yeah.
I mean, I suspended my work on beach delivery so I could write this 21-page essay and all the other artifacts. And then my job keeps me hella busy because I'm writing essays there as well. I like writing. I didn't like writing when I was in college, but I like writing. I do. I mean, I don't want to like be a manual tester and write test cases. I like writing out my scatterbrain thoughts and then continuously refining it from like a paragraph that's like 1,000 words to a paragraph that's like 200 words. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's a jigsaw puzzle. How can you express the same idea with the bare minimal? And to me, it's an interesting like crossword puzzle. Like I wasn't always like that, but I enjoy writing. So
Um, there's a. Oh, now I'm getting it again. Oh well, that's fine. Um, there's a book called On Writing Well. You should check out. It's basically a lot of on that exact thing about expressing things and recognizing when you're writing stuff and what you're writing doesn't actually add to
Yeah.
to a particular sentence, so you can just remove it and get to the core of what you're trying to get at.
And Microsoft Word helps out a lot, believe it or not. So I have a habit of saying, or within documents, writing certain phrases. Like I always like my mind is always default to, as a result, blah 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 blah, right? Instead of just saying because.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I got those same kinds of things. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I recognize them when I start writing them.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a couple other phrases that that I just default right because it's normal in conversation. Because you're not really counting words in conversation unless you're like in court and you really need to be concise and get to the point and be facts only instead of like just chatty, chatty, chatty. But yeah, I mean, Word calls me out on it and has recommendations to consolidate a phrase to like just a couple words.
Yeah. I know sometimes like the way that I structure my sentences like doesn't read very. I don't know why it doesn't read very well. So it'll be like I can't give an example off the top of my head, but I'll put the words in an order where it just reads not as well as if I had just flipped them around. I don't know why I do that. Um,
Do you do a lot of writing at work?
no, but I notice it in my chats. I'll say something and then I'll be like, God, and then I'll go edit it and flip it around.
I
And
do the
like,
same thing. I can never write a grammatically correct instant message in MS Teams for the life of me. Almost every single message that I send anybody, whether uh, within the hierarchy of the organization, they're under me or above me, I always have to edit the chat. And I have a habit of saying OUR instead of AUR.
oh,
And and I have a habit of saying THEIR instead of THEY apostrophe RE.
oh yeah, that'll get you.
Like I
That'll get you. That's the easiest ones, and they'll get you with that.
yeah, I mean the thing is I catch it after I submit the message, like because I always read the message after I submit it. For some reason, I very rarely proofread the message before I hit the send button, and like every message I send has a edited emblem on it from me. It's the same thing with like Stack Overflow when I ask questions.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the reasons that writing frustrates me sometimes is that it's just I have to go back and it takes me so long because I have to rephrase things over and over again until they sound right.
Well, imagine I'm just going to be blunt. Imagine being black and have a stereotype of not of being a culture that, based on what they promote on television or media, doesn't have a history of being eloquent with their communication. And so, like, it's something that I don't think most white people are conscious of, but I always have to think about it because I can't feed into the stereotype because I have to make it easier for people like me to attain certain positions. So I know people don't think about that, but people that
You,
look like me that are in professional positions, we have to. So
you must have hit a sweet spot with this job because
still
unlike
there.
like, yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're still there and you haven't been like,
Complaining.
I need to talk to you about this thing about this thing. It's like you're just kind of working. So
Uh it's a very different culture. Um they're actually talented. They actually are professionals. Usually
okay,
these recruiters stick me in positions where they're not really at the level that I would prefer.
Hmm. What
And
industry
so
is your job in now?
fintech,
Fintech. Okay. Hmm.
yeah,
Maybe that's the trick. Have you done fintech work before?
no, no. I I never thought I could get through a technical interview for a fintech company. I've interviewed for with fintech companies. Like I've interviewed with I think it's the only company that uses Old Camel in in New York City. I forgot the name of the company. I've interviewed with them. I knew during that interview that their personalities didn't match with mine.
Hmm.
I can't think of the name. If I said the name, you say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I heard of them." Yeah, but they're like the only they're like the only software company that uses OCaml. But
Oh, camel. Just trying to
no,
see if I could find.
and I've interviewed at I interviewed at Rocket. I don't know. I interviewed at Quicken Loans in Detroit. Like they took care of me, man. They flew me in. They gave me a chauffeur to drive me around. They were really trying to sell me on moving on leaving Miami Beach for Detroit. But they
They
took they put me up, man. Presidential. They put me up. Like whatchamacallit, he was on the other end of the interview table. I don't know. I'm not sure how active you are in Twitter, but Matthew Cruz, he's very chatty on Twitter. He was actually the one that referred me, and I sat in front of the tribunal that included him as they started drilling me. Yeah, I think I told you, and I said a joke that was borderline racist, and I started laughing, but no one laughed. So
the my one of my old coworkers, managers, friends. We used to go on recruiting trips together to universities, and he had this idea for a movie that would be, and he called it like The Interviewee, and it would be a comedy, like a rom com, starring like gosh, I can't remember. I'm losing my mind. I can't remember anything anymore.
Jonathan the Impaler Sharky.
Yeah, for sure. No, but it, anyways, but it would be this about this guy who would be like an expert interviewer, and he would know exactly what he would, but he would never take jobs. So he like what he would do is he would just get paid to fly into like a city. He'd get nice food and meals and wine and dine and all of that paid for a few days, and then he would get job offers, but he would turn them all down and just go on to the next like city. But then eventually, like what would happen is that he would end up at this place and he would meet somebody he's and kind of one of those love at first sight type things, and
Hmm.
then he'd actually like have to deal with that as the conflict in his narrative. So it, I don't know. I always thought it was a really stellar idea for a movie, but
I mean, honestly, I think there's probably a couple people that probably do that in real life. Like, I think I've even mentioned in our conversations of just wanting to see what the market's like by just interviewing just because.
yeah, yeah. But this would be just because, like, with the reimbursements on time and travel and stuff like that, and maybe he's got like a nest egg where he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to. He has enough to get by, but he doesn't have enough to live the way he wants to live. So he uses the stipends and the travel fees and all that stuff to get around. I don't know exactly
What's the.
if it would
I've,
work.
I've been seeing like somewhat of a surge in Twitter traffic about software developer salaries. What's that about?
But yeah, I posted something to you, and I was wondering if that was
I
legit.
didn't I didn't really read it, but
Oh, yeah. It was just a Twitter link about what was it? The wages. I was
For
surprised
Fang
to
or
see
just in
that
general?
for Fang, and I was surprised to see like over $500,000 compensation levels.
I mean, I
And
watch YouTube and like I saw this one. I'll just say it, black dude, because it just stands out that he claimed that he was working for I think it was either Airbnb or Uber, and the title was like I make $500,000 as a software developer, and so obviously I clicked it and I was watching it. I mean, I don't. I obviously that has to be like including stock options and stuff. It's not like divided by a
yeah,
hourly rate.
total compensation, which is maybe the trick there. I just posted that Twitter link to you
I've
in
never
the chat.
ever got a job with stock options ever,
I got
ever,
options.
ever.
They were not worth anything until somebody wants them. But I've got um, I'll be I think I get 20,000 or something options.
I
My
never,
current invested over 4 years with
I
option for
never
more after 2. So
ever. Hold up. I clicked on the link that you sent me, but it didn't show me anything.
weird.
Let me do it again. Hold up. Oh
But
crap.
the actually it's kind of cool. The company I work for gives every employee stock options regardless of
Office offer numbers from
position.
someone with 5 years of experience, currently making 300,000 a year. They consider offers of 500,000 a year so low that they're not even worth mentioning. I shopped around a bit and have found similar large companies are willing to offer me. Yeah, like I mean, not with those numbers, but like I've received like feedback from like past girlfriends. They'll hear me over the phone and they'll be like, and I would be like, $75 an hour? Nah, I'm cool. And like they would like overhear me on the phone, right, as a recruiter's talking to me or whatever, and they're like, they're offering you $70 an hour, and you said no. I'm like, yeah, that's beneath me. Meanwhile, like they may work at Panera Bread or do whatever,
Hmm.
but I think everything's relative, man.
Yeah, I wonder how much is actually in those is actually because it's total compensation.
What's
Um,
crazy is when we finally
how
go to
much is
war,
options?
or when you people finally go to war with China, I'll probably be begging for like $30 an hour just to pay my bills.
I don't think that we'd go to war with China. I don't think China, other than like a economic type war,
Okay.
they could roll into Taiwan. We wouldn't do anything about it. I guarantee. There's no way anybody wants to disrupt the.
We, I don't think we would put boots on the ground in Taiwan, but it'll be a air superiority conflict.
Nah, nah. Nobody's gonna fight over. The interesting litmus test will be if Russia decides to invade Ukraine. Because if we do nothing about them annexing Ukraine, then we'll do nothing against
The,
Taiwan.
the question is, even if the United States does nothing for the invasion of Ukraine, would NATO be willing to go without the United States, even though the United States is the spearhead of NATO?
Uh, I don't know. Well, so
They would
if
have
all the
to.
rest of the
It's a
European countries
contract.
do it, if all the rest of the European countries do it, is Ukraine in the NATO though?
I thought they were recently inducted, like maybe within the last 10 years or so. I thought,
No,
or they're just affiliated with NATO. It's one or the other.
I don't. I think that they
Because I
might be.
remember, I remember when Russia invaded Georgia. God damn, they first shut down their entire internet, and then they just started just steamrolling that entire country. That was about 10 years ago.
Yeah, Ukraine isn't in NATO.
I bet you they
It's
want to be.
yeah, Albania,
United States
Belgium,
like no.
Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Montenegro, Netherlands, North Macedonia, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain,
So
Turkey,
why
the UK, and the US.
why won't they allow Ukraine in NATO?
It might be that they because I think there was concern about Turkey also being in NATO. And I mean, it's possible that they don't want them in because of the fact that Russia might actually invade them. Because with NATO, it's like once you're in, there's this like it's a pledge basically. Like if you get messed with, we're all gonna mess with that person.
It's
So
basically a precursor for a world war on whoever invades any of those countries, right?
yeah, I mean, it's basically like
But
it's a
does it really
block against
mean
Russia
does
and China, I suppose.
does it really mean military conflict with involving all countries in NATO, or does it just mean some form of support, whether it's military or just financial?
I think it's all of the above. It's I think it's just like a you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us type kind of a thing. And it's probably along the lines of the mutually assured destruction type stuff. But um, I don't know, man.
Is
I guess you
Australia
could
in it?
historians probably would know. No, they're not in it because they're not part of the North Atlantic. Of course, Turkey isn't really either, but
I don't think NATO will let any brown country inside its
Turkey's
ranks.
Turkey's a Turkey's a Middle Eastern brown country.
I didn't think
Maybe.
they were. They are in NATO, but
Yeah, they
they
are in
have.
NATO.
But there is static with Turkey and United States because Turkey decided that they wanted to purchase some other military hardware from Russia. The United States is like, no, no, that doesn't. All this stuff must integrate with the hardware that NATO has standardized on, and then they were going back and forth, and then sanctions and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
Turkey is like, I don't know, it's not. Turkey isn't stable in regards to NATO alliance. I don't think.
yeah, but they're in it. So where's Estonia? Oh, it's right above Latvia. Okay. So yeah, Belarus and Ukraine and Moldova. It looks like those like Eastern Bloc countries south of Latvia, Lithuania aren't in it. That doesn't.
You have any plans for this weekend?
Just family Christmas stuff. So nothing,
I need
nothing
to
out of the normal.
hurry up and go to Office Depot and um go on a shopping spree so I could have some tax write-offs before the year closes. I'm dead serious.
Buy yourself a nice gaming
I need to
computer.
spend a couple stacks so I can write it off before the year closes.
Buy yourself a nice gaming computer, and then we can play some League of Legends together sometime.
I don't, dude. My PlayStation 5, since I moved into my new unit, I still haven't plugged it in.
Yeah, get on to League of Legends. You'll get addicted like the rest of us are. And
I think I'm gonna.
actually, you might
I
not
gotta
because it's a huge learning curve.
I gotta buy an electric bike with the 2XL frame. That would probably easily be $2,000 $2,500 I could write off, and that's for beach delivery.
There you go.
What else can I buy?
Laser printer.
No, I got one. It's behind me. I got that like 4 months ago because my other printer tapped out. Hell, I was scanning documents 2 mornings ago to send to for my claim. So
Yeah. So
uh,
I tell you though, you know what I was kind of in a mood last night because I want something big to work on, like uh, I
At
don't
work or
know.
outside of work?
Probably at work, just because outside of work, I don't know why I can't think of anything that I would actually want to work on. It's like I don't
Your
have real
work.
problems in real life. I like work's got problems that I want to fix. It's just and they're but I think I'm like kind of insatiable when it comes to tasks, and if I don't get like, and the funny thing is though, if I don't get like meaningful or big tasks, it's really hard to get motivated to do the smaller
I
things.
would, even though I'm still focused on each delivery, I'm s- I'm doing a little bit of thought work into writing a, a audio equalizer that's Bluetooth for car audio.
Might as well.
Yeah, because then car audio becomes a tax write-off. But I mean, I've been like drawing diagrams, trying to figure out how that stuff would work. Of course, I'm sure that domain is crazy in regards to like domain terms and all the stuff that is involved with sound frequencies and sound quality. I still struggle with the concept of hertz. Like, and maybe you know this. And so, if a subwoofer is tuned for like 33 hertz, is that a second? Right? It has to be a second, right? It doesn't make sense for it to be 33. Like, yeah, it has to be a second, right? So, what? You tap something 33 times in 1 second? Like, I don't understand how like different sound has a different like noises based on the amount of times that it goes back and forth per second. Like, I don't understand that concept. So, yeah. Is it just a
So,
string? Like, how do you measure a hertz? Do you just take a chord and you boing? Like, I don't understand like what it means,
so
or
if
does hertz have nothing to do with sound at all?
well,
Like, I
hertz
don't.
are frequency, right? So it sounds like 1 hertz is equal to 1 cycle per second. Um, so I'm guessing it's measuring the uh, the number of waves within 1 second of a sound. Um, so 33
Waves?
hertz would be well, because sound is all waves, right? It's I don't know anything about audio, but if sound's all waves, so if you have a high frequency, then you're getting many waves um, all at once. But frequency also applies to the like refresh on monitors and stuff like that. Hertz, isn't it like
Yeah.
60 hertz, whatever, 120
Well, I
hertz?
guess it's more than that, but yeah. Yeah.
But so it's not.
I mean, the processor on the CPU processor is like 1 point, or it's probably up to like 2 or 3 gigahertz now. But yeah, like I guess they're applicable towards different spaces or domains. I just never understood what it means in regards to a speaker, an audio speaker. Because I'm thinking like the subwoofer goes in and out like 33 times a second. Like I don't know what it means.
Yeah, sound traveling longitudinal waves is an oscillation of pressure. Sound waves as pitch. We hear the frequency as pitch. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody who's an audio nerd probably could explain it to you. Just
Yeah.
grab an audio nerd on Twitter and have him get on a thing and explain hertz to you in audio. And I use the term audio nerd enduring, not as a pejorative or anything. So
I'm going to strongly consider finding a resort for this weekend. I'm not sure how much it's going to cost. I'm not sure how much overhead. Is it just me, or is there like another wave of COVID that's making things challenging for people?
Oh yeah, yeah. Omicron. I
You,
saw a
you think
thing.
you think they created that in a lab and they're like, yo, let's just keep it going, just keep it going.
Oh no, well, no, it mutates just like any other, like the flu mutates or whatever. It's just what happens when something's naturally out there, right? But I've heard that Omicron isn't too bad in
That
terms of
that's
stuff,
the
but
African one.
well, sort of. It might
Yeah,
have
South
actually
Africa.
been. It was just found in South Africa. Who knows where it actually came from? Um, but it's yeah, it's I don't know. I saw it was a funny headline was on Twitter. It was like send this to someone 2 years ago without any context or something like that, and it was Omicron is coming to the U.S. We need to be prepared.
Sounds like a transformer.
I know. Oh gosh, it's freaking hilarious. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Um, I mean, there's good news every day. Like they approved the COVID pill, I think yesterday, um, which is another Pfizer thing, but it's I guess it's supposed to reduce if you give it to someone within the first few days of them getting in, it's going to reduce like the likelihood of death by like 89% or something like that.
Is it like a HIV pill or something?
No, I don't know.
I thought there was a
It's
pill.
called Paxlovid. Gained emergency use clearance from the FDA. It's the first at-home therapy for the virus.
So it's
So
like Plan B.
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. But I mean that's good news, I suppose, that
I
there's
haven't,
a actually approved therapeutic now.
I haven't forced somebody to use Plan B in a while. Anyways. Oh. Yeah, so I didn't make any progress with my beach delivery app. I'm the last time I wrote code was like I think early last week. I'm gonna write code this weekend. I'm gonna write code tomorrow. Um, but like the part that has some server issues is courier payout. So like all that stuff is deployed, but courier payout, like I don't know, there's some type of like crash or something, and so I gotta fix that, and then I can finally take it out to the field, and then see if the location tracking between customer and courier is actually working, like the movements are working, and then yeah, that's it.
You need to pivot away from that and start looking at how to build a better post office. Replace the post office. That isn't UPS FedEx.
Was it you that I was trying to convince that libraries are obsolete?
No, probably not. But I could see that. Um,
Yeah, libraries are just homeless shelters. That's literally what they are. Like, I mean, I'm sure little kids may go to the library after school to wait to get picked up or something, but like, it's who really goes to the library to read a book?
it's
Like,
like Blockbuster.
yeah, but it's funded by the state, so they'll
I
just
wonder
keep
why. I
they'll
wonder why.
keep
Like,
forcing people to pay for it or taxpayers to pay for it.
yeah, I wonder why. Like, there wasn't any sort of like, um, or it never took off. Like a mail. So like Netflix was you'd mail a book or mail a DVD. Maybe it's just the cost of mailing a book is the problem.
Well, it's wear and tear. Like any book that I touch it's used like it has crinkles in it. It's creases like
Yeah, but if you're reading fiction, though, I mean, which is a lot of people like, you know,
I wouldn't know because I don't really read fiction, but
yeah. But I mean,
I,
you could have.
I usually just watch movies.
Yeah, I'm guessing that somebody tried the mail a book for read it for 30 days or something, return it, or read it as long as you want, and then return it when you're done. Um, you pay the subscription fee. You don't
What's
return it after so many days. It's
what's
yours or something like that.
what's preferred, consuming fiction through a literal book or through an audiobook?
I think it depends on the person. Like my wife would probably rather read a book, but I like don't. I don't. I just can't read books. It's
I
just.
used to, yeah,
I mean, I can, but I don't. I
I
don't
used to
enjoy
try to
it.
force myself to read. I thought the name of the book was called The Alchemist, and I was trying to force myself to read it at on the beach. My attention span is not that good though. Like I'll just see like bikinis and G strings, and like I'll just put the book down and start looking at other things. But
Yeah, I like to. I mean, I like to listen to them when I'm doing like exercise or whatever. So
have you? I assume because of the ice and snow, you've suspended your training.
yeah, although I have to get back into it in January. There's no like if I let it go for a little bit, that's fine. But like I have a half marathon in April, the end of April, and then I've got that full marathon in June. And there's if I don't like get back into it, there's no freaking way I'm gonna be ready by then.
Uh,
So I've got it in my head that January is I got to get back on the
you can
horse one way or
do
the other.
you can do I almost said audio. You could do cardio in the house. Like when I'm in Toronto and I'm just in quarantine, I just turn on YouTube and do a search on aerobics and
Yeah,
or cardio, and I'll do a 30-minute session, and it's a workout. At least for
I've
me,
got
it
a
is.
I've got a treadmill I can run on. It's just I don't know, man. It seemed
Treadmills are boring.
yeah, it's just yeah. Well, that's the thing is like when you're on a treadmill, it's time goes by so much slower. It seems like I don't know what it is.
I try to like psych myself, and I think about the 50 Cent video. You can find me in the club and how he's running on the treadmill, and I'll try to like position myself like that. But treadmills are boring, man.
Yeah, I've thought about getting a gym membership
I
though
feel like
and
a
actually
hamster
going.
on a hamster wheel. Like I can't do it.
Thought about getting a gym membership and going and trying that out. Maybe just the change in environment, being out of the house and
You can
around a
do
bunch of people who are like fit potentially and good
what
looking.
type of gym membership? The typical one
Just a
or
typical
cross
one.
training? You should do cross training.
Uh, like
That stuff is hard.
uh, Planet Fitness is a pretty seems like a pretty decent
Like
deal.
they jump on and off of like planks, and they have these ropes, and they and then they
CrossFit, yeah,
yeah, everything
and
is
then
like a superset.
yeah,
I tried it like 2 years ago, and I mean it's just like running. Like the embarrassing thing is you'll see like older ladies in their like late 50s, and they're just running circles around me, just pull ups and jumping jacks. You know, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I got like 150 pounds more than them, right? That I have to deal with, but
yeah.
it's always humbling.
But yeah, I was thinking I might do that um, just to try something different, get out of the house and see if the environment clicks or not. I know a lot of people like I'm worried because of people people tend to buy gym memberships right at the turn of the year, and I don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah,
But it's like
it's gonna.
it's not because of the turn of the year I want to do it. It's because like I know that I got 6 months or whatever to go until I have to hit.
Depending on your pocketbook, would you hire a personal trainer?
Probably not. I probably not. I mean, you can pretty much figure out what you need to do by just looking shit up online.
Yeah, but
It'd be nice to have a gym buddy, I
is someone
suppose.
going
But I
to
don't think I
enforce
want
it?
frickin'.
Is someone going to enforce it and hold you accountable?
Yeah, I need you to do that for me. Just make sure every week that I give a status update, and
Okay.
starting after next week.
You can use whatever software on your smartwatch, and maybe there's a program I could write so that whenever you're not meeting the routine expectations, then you go, I deduct like $20 out of your checking account,
Yeah, there is something like that.
or I'll route it to some charity of your choice for every time that you're not meeting expectations on your weekly quota.
Um, there's sites that do that. I can't remember what the hell
That's related
they
to
are.
fitness or just
Well, it's just anything. Like you, the idea is exactly that. What you do is you have somebody who is like your accountability person, and if they report in that you didn't, do what you said you were going to do, then the money either goes to, I think the idea is that the money goes, in one of them, the money goes to a charity that you hate. So it'd be like,
something that revolves around Trump.
well, no, like if you're like, if you're an animal lover, it would go to, or so let's just say
The
you
Cat
hate guns,
Foundation.
it would go to the NRA or whatever,
Okay.
So it would be, the money would go to some organization or charity that is not in line with your personal. Um,
Yeah, but like, how would you really enforce that? And so what I'm saying is,
yeah, I mean,
on
you could
your
just,
on
go
your
ahead.
phone or your smartwatch, it's going to have your literal GPS location and time slices. And so
It doesn't work on a treadmill though.
that can basically, like, that can be executed, and if that routine hasn't been completed at the designated location that you've already committed to, then all that stuff is like automated. Like, there isn't you sending an email or going to some like website and this is what I did. No, it's all automated. So
I think maybe this is it. Is it? I don't know. Maybe I've seen other ones. This one might be one stick stick with an extra K at the end. stickk.com.
I'm curious, who is this one observer that's observing our chat? I bet you it's my ex boss. It was weird, man. he just likes to look at all my social media, man. I don't know.
They call it anti-charity systems.
I think he's attracted to me.
Yeah, stick must be it. The
There's
one
a
that I'm
fetish for 6'7" tall black men. Like, the dude is weird.
A lot of weird people in the world.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I bet you it's so. He's that one observer. It's like eating his popcorn, like looking at my chat, looking at our mastermind sessions, like.
This be so much better if that white guy wasn't on here.
So next week, I guess that marks the end of our session. Next week, I mean tomorrow, I'm like, real talk. Tomorrow, I'm gonna probably put in like probably 4 to 6 hours of coding to get this thing done, and then I can finally turn over a new chapter and start field testing it.
Good.
I did. I was in Hollywood Beach, and there was a pizza shop on the beach that said that they wanted to work with me. Like, okay.
Cool.
I think they were serious. All right.
So your first one should be to deliver you champagne for New Year's on the beach. Like,
Oh, I never considered that.
That'd be a good test until it breaks, and then you're like, shit, god damn it! You're spending your entire New Year's just.
Or the courier just takes off with my champagne.
Well, you probably have to use
Yeah, I gotta find my
reputable
first.
people to start.
I gotta find my first courier. I did sell. I sold my. I sold a subwoofer enclosure yesterday. This was my first time selling car audio in probably like 10 years, and off of Facebook Marketplace. And like this dude, I mean, I get a lot of messages like, "Is it still available? Is it still available?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah," and I never hear from him again. And then this one dude messaged me, "Is it still available?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, I want to come pick it up." I'm like, "Okay, well, I won't be available till 3 p.m." He's like, "All right, I'm cool with that." And I'm like, so I looked up my local police department's address, and I was like, "Meet me at whatever, 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 Collins Avenue in a parking lot." He was like, "All right," and sure enough, like he pulled up, like I rolled my speaker enclosure. Thing weighs like it weighs about 80 pounds, man, and I carried a dolly and I just walked down the street for like 10 minutes. Big husky, tattooed up, gold grill, Hispanic dude hopped out of a Dodge Charger, immediately tossed me $100, picked up the entire closure with one arm, and fisted it inside of his back seat of his car, and just drove off. It was that fast.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I had to use the entire dolly for this thing. So I don't know. I don't know if it
yeah,
was a positive thing, but
yeah. Facebook, we like
he
selling on
definitely
that has
fit.
been.
He definitely fit the stereotype of who I was expecting to buy the enclosure from me in Miami. So
Yeah, back when could see that Facebook was going to like that selling on Facebook was going to be a thing. I had this idea to do like a site that would be that kind of a marketplace deal before they added all the features that they did, but I never got traction working on that. Uh, but dude, they like it. Our police department
yeah,
actually
Facebook
has like
doesn't
a
get any money from it. I mean, they get data from it, but they don't get any money from it. They just know what you have in your house and what you're trying to get rid of and what other people are trying to buy.
well, they don't get money for you talking about what you baked for Christmas yesterday either, but they do, you know. Um, but our police
That's
department actually
still
has like a
ads, I guess.
specific spot, or like our county has a specific spot with cameras where they've set up as a safe like exchange spot because that's so common
Yeah.
to do that kind of a thing.
I
So
mean, in my case, like it was kind of overboard because I had this huge enclosure. Like, are you really going to hold me at gunpoint and then pick this up and put it in your car? Like,
yeah,
especially with me, probably not. But you don't. I don't want people knowing where I live, especially if it's like car audio stuff. So
yeah. Walgreens is the big place. A lot of people exchange stuff around here too. Walgreens is a popular
I see it at like
spot.
Starbucks. People meet up and exchange like iPads and stuff like that. To
Yeah,
me, like just meet me in a lot of the police department. So
yeah. Surprising it doesn't happen at like Walmart parking lot very much, but
because I think there's too much going on at Walmart parking lots.
yeah,
I get road rage in Walmart parking lots. Like every single time, almost every single time I pull up in Walmart, it's always like ignorant people as I'm trying to like back out or pull in. So, anyways,
yeah. Well,
I think
cool.
I'm done.
I should be able to go in regular time next week. Because I had the day off, but I also took Wednesday and Thursday off, and it's New Year's even isn't a big a deal, I suppose.
Oh, really, really quick technical question. Do you know anything about minimal API?
Minimal API. Nope.
.NET 6 minimal API? Okay.
Other than I've heard about it, and there's a template for it. I'm assuming that they're just getting rid of the so like with I don't know if you've built a Node app before, but it's a lot easier to get started with a really small API. I'm assuming that they're doing the same thing there. It's just you provide the route and you provide a Lambda and that's it. I could create I'm gonna try creating one off of it just to see how accurate my guess is. New project.
Something I have to learn.
Web API. Min API. So there's like an option on the templates now if you uncheck to use minimal API instead of using the controller. Controllers, standard MVC. So the template you get is literally just program.cs with no other files. And the weather forecast comes as a, okay, yeah, it's exactly as I expected. So, I mean, I'll share quick if you want to see, so you don't have to go through all this, but share screen. Two, hopefully that's the right one. You see in Visual Studio, right? Yeah, so it's just like a Node app where you say here map this path. Here's an expression to of the code to run at that path.
You just launched the template and that's what it is?
Yeah, this is the template for it. It's exactly what I expected, because if you look at like a 1 second, see if I can bring up a node.
And it has Swagger in it?
Oh yeah. Well, you can toggle that off, but OpenAPI,
No,
yeah.
I'm going to need it.
Yeah, but the templates now, you have an option to include OpenAPI stuff on it.
God, I don't want to learn all this. Okay.
Well, it's not. I don't think that it's really much to learn, right?
I have to learn Swagger Cogent. I have to learn OpenAPI.
So I think with Node, with Express, it's like you say here, router give here's the path, here's the function you run. That's kind of similar here. It's here's the path, here's the function you run, versus writing out a controller for it.
Go to the class, please.
What class?
Where's the resource to find that? Or what do you call it? What do you call it's called a resource, right? And then it's weather forecast. Where's that defined?
You mean the actual class? Sorry.
For example, so a URL for some API endpoint would be employers, and then
yeah, that's here. So this is localhost blah 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 or whatever your host name is / weather forecast.
Oh, okay.
That gets routed into this expression here, or this lambda, which then creates some dummy data and returns it for this weather forecast.
That doesn't look right though. Hold up, scroll back up. All that is contained within a method, right?
Scroll. I'm done scrolling.
You have app.use HTTP, that's executable code. That's not a method. How all this is in the weather forecast method. Okay, I'm looking at your top right drop down.
All this is run in. I mean, this is the weather forecast. I don't even know
class, and then the method is weather forecast. Okay.
Well, this is using the top level main program. So it's programs. So you can have one, instead of doing namespace blah 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 program static main, they removed all of that fluff, so you can just have this at a root level. I think that was in .NET 5.
Yeah, but all that's is just one method for endpoint.
This is like your main, your main, program. So you've got.
Oh.
I'm surprised that you can actually put, because this.
No, but the way I'm
definition here, but.
I guess what got me tripped up is when you look at line 24, app.map.get,
Yeah,
like I guess that's just a registration because I was like it's executing all this. Like so if I want to have if I wanted to add another um I know
yeah,
I say endpoint, but that's not the right term. If I want
yeah.
to add
If
an
you want to add another, not well, yeah, you want to add
operation,
another.
whatever I
It'd be
don't know
like,
what the restful terminology is, but like if I wanted to add another operation for that API, like get all weather, get weather for, get 7 day weather forecast. I would just put it right there, and that would just be a registration for what the API supports, right, or exposes.
yeah,
Okay, I get it now. Get Scott's car audio working.
yeah. I mean, this would be an endpoint where you request, localhost blah 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 slash Scott, you get back Nimrod. I'm not sure
Okay.
what the parameters into the delegate here could be though. I guess it depends on how this is structured. So it's pattern is this,
Oh,
it's just any delegate. I wonder if it has to just match the pattern of the thing that you're doing, and then I wonder if you get, because you don't probably get like access to. I mean, you can't do like.
I wonder if they have a F sharp template for this. I know F sharp won't be the priority, but it'd be nice if they did.
I mean, I don't know if you can do this kind of thing like you could do with controllers or not, because that's MVC. I'd have to look at the nuances of how to actually pass stuff into this delegate. Um, like if you're trying to inject services to run, this would be a hell of a lot easier. And maybe you don't even need that. You just like ask like a function name here, like you know, then you generate a method for that. But we'll take an HTTP context, I guess. So that's kind of cool. So I assume you could do something like, and it must just interpret however you've got it structured.
What was the
Okay,
motivation?
this one needs we have a task.
What was the motivation for this framework?
I'm
Like,
guessing
why did they
part of it.
spend like $5 million or $30 million for this framework?
Did they spend $30 million for this framework?
I mean, I would assume that they probably didn't develop it in 1 month, and the amount of software testers, the amount of developers, the amount of architects involved, and the
No,
different phases of.
this is a natural progression of where .NET, or ASP, whatever 5 has been going forever. Because you could do this before, it was just not very. It was just not
Intuitive.
very intuitive. Because really, when you add MVC, you're just mapping in routes, but you could have mapped in routes manually. This is just a cleaner interface over it. So I'm assuming this isn't a very. Like I said, I'm assuming this isn't a very complex uh, addition to what they already had. And maybe this was already there in .NET 5 too, and I just didn't, or like the last
Oh
version. But
shoot! I forgot. You don't care about space. Um, I gotta figure out when they're gonna launch James Webb Telescope again.
it
It's in
got
French
postponed.
Guyana. I wonder if I could drive to like Cape Canaveral and watch it on the big screen with a whole bunch of other space geeks.
Didn't
Yeah,
they?
I'm into that stuff, man. Like, I don't know. Like, am I weird for like really being into like rocket launches and satellites and orbital mechanics? Like, I can't do the math, but I'm interested in that stuff, man. I subscribe to it.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who are fascinated with space. So I doubt that you're.
It's weird. Like, like in Cleveland, I would watch like older guys. They would just sit in a parked car or they would sit on the hoods of their car and they would watch a train go by, and they would just take photos of it. And like they're into trains. um, I'm into rocket launches and the art of making things go faster by, what do you call it when you put a satellite towards a celestial body for it to slingshot and go faster. I forgot what the actual term
Yeah, I don't know
is.
what the term is, but
Yeah.
other than slingshotting.
Anyway, like I need to figure out when the new launch date is. Hopefully, I could maybe make a trip to Cape Canaveral and
Watch it
watch it.
explode over over
Watch
Florida.
ISIS blow it up or something.
Uh,
Like you see a missile, like you see the rocket launch go like this, and then you'll just see another missile coming from a side profile.
yeah, the aliens don't want you to find
It's like
their
North
homeland. So
Korea, what the f? That'd be funny, man. If North Korea
yeah,
decides to down it, or some Middle Eastern country decides to down it because it flew over their airspace.
I don't think that would happen unless
That would be war.
China might be able to do it, but I don't know that anybody
No,
else would have the
China has
technology.
everything to. Should be just as invested in this being
Yeah,
deployed as anybody else. I mean, they're ahead. Honestly, I think they're ahead of us in the space race right now.
yeah. That's why you need Space Force. Anyways,
Is that actually like a thing now?
yeah, it's official
It didn't leave after
thing.
Trump left.
No, no, it's a thing.
Okay.
Once the
And
government gets more of something, they're not going to reduce themselves.
didn't
That's not
China
how the
just blow up a
government works.
satellite? This China just blow up a
No, Russia
satellite?
did. Russia did, and then they had a Russia
How
did,
come
and then
Space Force didn't catch that?
well, I don't remember if it's NASA or whatever. They did have to scramble the entire
ISS.
IIS to the escape pods or whatever because something that's traveling in space at that speed or whatever could completely just punch a hole right through the IIS
Yeah, I'm
space
sure it
station, I
probably
guess. So
has a hole in it.
yeah,
This
but
defeats the whole purpose of a Space Force if you can't deflect a missile that's going to ultimately result in 10,000 or 20,000 more pieces scattered in the orbital cloud that's making it harder and harder to launch space vehicles.
yeah, I don't really know what the mission of the Space Force is, um, but yeah, it's probably related to missiles.
I really hope James Webb finds something like what's the word that I'm looking for? Not even like earth shaking. I hope they really find something that really challenges everything that we thought.
Like
I don't know what that would be.
they find signs of like a civilization.
No, because I don't think it's designed to measure. I don't know what the right term is. I don't think it's a light finder. I don't think it has the instruments to find that. I don't know. I just hope that $10 billion in 20 years of development really results in us rethinking religion, rethinking our way of life, rethinking what we value. I just hope that they're not just showing a whole bunch of stardust. I really hope it revolution. I can't say the word. Revolution. How do you say it? Say it. Revolution.
Revolutionizes.
Yeah, I can't say it. I really hope it revolutionizes um, society uh, 5 years from now. Like GPS revolutionized society, and that was a product of NASA, as far as I know, right? So I really hope this James Webb finally like does something that really contributes to everybody's lifestyle being better or less stressful.
Yeah, I guess we can all find unlimited power somewheres.
Uh, like sometimes I wonder. I don't know. sometimes I wonder if humans are really the aliens or if humans are really the god. And I was thinking about this in the shower. Like, what if, like, so we have Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, and they're going in like opposite directions or whatever. But then we have a whole bunch of other stuff that we don't know about that governments have also done in outer space. And I'm just curious, like, 10 million years from now, if bacteria lands on some other planet a couple light years away, or maybe a light year away, if life spawns from it and then evolution takes place, and then there's people like us that walk around like 3 billion years after that, and if they start asking like where did we come from, and like they start worshiping whatever god that they come from or whatever they think, but really like it's the artifacts from our satellites from like a billion years ago that really, what's it called, sperm, I don't know what that term
I don't
is,
think they
but
contain like.
it's bacteria everywhere, dude.
Yeah, but it can't survive space. Like
It
the
can't survive space. You don't think back,
tardigrades, maybe, but like even
you don't think microbes can
lemon.
survive radiation?
No, not like that. No.
Have you heard of a water bear?
The yeah, like I said, tardigrades can survive a lot, but for millennia of being like shot across in you know space in freezing cold, like I don't. And that would assume that they didn't irradiate the equipment to begin with before they sent it out or remove all of that stuff. So
I don't. I'm nearly willing to put my life that you cannot have an absolutely clean anything that humans touch. Like it's impossible. You can treat it, but there's going to be like traces of bacteria or microbes that's just a residue. Like through,
but not to
I think
survive
that's
from
common knowledge,
race
right?
and nah, I think it'd be all inert by the time it gets there, inert matter.
You don't think bacteria or microbes can go dormant, and then once they get close enough to a heat source, then they can resume?
No, well, I mean that's what tardigrades do that by or whatever by they expel all the water from their body and then they like rehydrate so that they don't explode when it freezes. But I don't know. I suppose, but then you'd have to land somewhere with water to reanimate a tardigrade or whatnot. So I don't think unless you were shooting it at a planet that's capable of supporting life with like a sun and melted water, I don't think you're ever gonna have that happen. Like you'd have to intentionally be trying to terraform. I believe. I don't think you can
All right.
accidentally
I
terraform.
mean, consider this, and I'm not sure if this supports my argument or not, but was it the Juno spacecraft? What? Or no, maybe it was Cassini. Cassini, at the end of its life expectancy, based on it running out of fuel and it orbiting Saturn, instead of just leaving it there and potentially colliding with some other like celestial object and then some of that stuff getting on one of its moons or whatever, they intentionally crashed it into the atmosphere of Saturn. I mean, Saturn's a gas giant as far as we know. And the thought process was we don't want to contaminate any other celestial body that we would like to visit in the future. So why would they do that if it doesn't have residue on it, and they constructed all that in a clean room?
What do they mean? What do they mean by contaminate? Though?
As in, no matter how clean your room is, no matter how clean the uniform, the gloves, the whatever you spray to disinfect, there's always going to be traces of life. There's always going to be traces of bacteria, microbes, no matter what, right? You can only treat it so much.
Yeah,
And
but did they
so
mean contaminate like as in biological contamination, or did they
yeah,
mean
bio-
contaminate by, or is that the assumption? And that
biological. I mean
they
that's the
said it
whole.
was a biological contamination was what they were worried about, not not like not like contaminating something in the way that you might throw trash in.
No, biological. Like, so if 60 years from now we want to examine, I don't know what the names of the moons are, Euclides or whatever moons are over there in that area that orbit Saturn.
Hmm.
Um, they don't want to accidentally think that, oh shoot, there's microbes here, oh there's life here, and no, it's just residue or collateral damage from a previous satellite that they didn't dispose of properly. They ended up colliding with some debris in the ring of Saturn that went scattered and happened to land on one of the moons.
So they
And
wouldn't find bacterial life, though. They would find residue of something, which I guess is possible. I just
let's just
it
say
being
microbes instead
alive
of
versus
bacteria.
dead, though. So you could send an entire, you know, you could send an entire, thing full of dead microbes somewheres, and it's going to land there and still be dead microbes. It's not going to be alive,
Well, you
living
say
microbe,
yeah,
unless you
but
could reanimate it in some way.
but
But
your
that
assumption
requires.
your assumption is it's a dead microbe. I'm saying that no, it doesn't necessarily have to be a quote unquote dead microbe. It could still have life in it. So like I guess what we disagree on is it sounds as if you're saying once it hits outer space that the radiation is going to kill anything, and I'm saying that's not the fact. That's not the case at all. Like you have like microbes, which is still a life form that it's I won't say it's immune to radiation, but it can survive a certain level of radiation.
Yeah, but for
I
a
mean,
million-year space journey to some planet that isn't habitable or is habitable, maybe if you were ramming into what was it, Titan that has water on it, um, maybe there could be some chance there. But I don't know, man. Or Mars doesn't have.
I
I don't know how
mean
much water's on
the
Mars. You
that
gotta have.
argument that argument is just as effective as saying where did life come from and how can life spontaneously occur from no life at all, right? I mean, you kind of get into that loop of I guess I'm failing to articulate it. Like, if that's the case, then how is life even here on Earth? Where did it come from?
Well, I mean,
Did Earth always exist, or did Earth develop as a result of stardust and the star forming, and then things clumping together, and then over billions of years, the more things clump together, the more gravity attracts more other things to clump together until it becomes spherical.
yeah, but I'm
Like,
I'm not saying that life isn't capable of popping up from another set of elements. I'm saying that the elements that provide for life as it evolved here require the conditions of here to be sustained. Like you can't like life here requires carbon and water basically, right? So if you remove those from the equation, it's not going to survive. How is it going to survive, or how is it going to thrive? It's not.
and if a microbe happens to have carbon as part of its makeup, what's the difference?
Yeah, but it's not going to be able to like survive on a planet unless you land it in a place where it could thrive and produce other carbon-based life forms. Now, if you had like a silicone-based life form or something like that, and you landed it on a planet that's not based in silicone, you're probably not going to survive very long either, or you're not going to be able to thrive for sure as an evolution from what you are, because you just don't have the raw materials to reproduce into new things. So you'd have to have the microbe on the thing. It has to survive a millions years of journey across space, or beyond millions of years. Um, Land exactly on a planet that has the capability and the to support carbon-based, life forms,
It was
such that it would
transpermia.
reproduce, and then add another couple million years to actually cause that to, like, it's more likely that we'd just find a planet with with, with life on it.
You heard of the term transpermia?
No.
It's the theory that comets that residue from comets happen to sprinkle onto bodies such as or planets such as the Earth, and as a result, that's one way of spreading life.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
and so it was kind of like within that mindset of a satellite being analogous to a comet that still has some residue from Earth, right? Um, or microbes from Earth that happens. And you say like survive. I say like, and I could read up on it, but to me it's just dormant. That's all it is.
Yeah, but to thrive, you need the raw materials. You can't
To
thrive off of.
thrive, you just need to collide with an object that has the materials
Yeah.
that can serve as a catalyst for it to be revived,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that
like water.
us doing that, unless we were trying to be intentional about it, the happenstance of that is probably astronomically low. That we would send a satellite out that would contain the microbe that's living to begin with, that didn't get cleared up by all the scrubbings and all that stuff, that then would somehow make it across the vast expanses of space without getting destroyed in the process and land somewheres on a foreign planet that is capable, has the raw materials for it to reproduce in a way that produces life equal to us.
But it's
It's
like 100 billion galaxies with 100 billion stars with probably a dozen
yeah.
planets per star. So how astronomical is that really?
No, I get that in terms of having it happen naturally elsewhere in the universe, but not by us causing it. So I got to run here though. I got
Okay.
stand up in like 5 minutes, so I
See ya.
gotta check some stuff. All right, see ya.
Bye.
See you next week.